this is my perspective. Obviously, this is totally my personal perspective. If it does not jive with yours, great. That's fabulous. You know, I'm sure you've all heard this message before. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Do not try to force anything anybody else says into your belief system. Okay. If it does not resonate with you, if it doesn't feel right, it's not for you, and that's totally fine. There's a reason we are all very different. We're in very different places on our path, and we have very different truths, because that's what we're doing, is we're learning how to exist together in that reality. And so we're not ever going to all believe exactly the same thing until we are all part of source again, right? So I just want to make that clear. My perspective only. Don't worry about if it doesn't resonate, okay? Don't worry about that. So parenting starseed children, let's start with the basics, because just in case some may be unfamiliar with what a starseed is. And again, my perspective from all the research that I have done, I realize there are all these terms out there: indigo child, rainbow child, crystal child. They're, again, just like information. Try not to force your child into a box, into a label. I tried to do all that research, and I have 4, right? And so I'm trying to like squeeze my kids. Well, but he was born here, but he's more got those characteristics. Just remember that these boxes were created quite a while ago. Dolores Cannon, I think, had a big hand in kind of defining what a starseed is, all the indigo, crystal. And I know those terms have been around a long time. She's not the only one, but she's one that I've studied. And again, they were created in the 3D. So just remember that no one child really is going to fit perfectly into a certain category, and never, ever, ever worry about, oh, it's because I always have people asking me, well, I need to know, is my child a rainbow or an indigo? It really does not matter. Okay. All you need to know is that they're all light workers. Okay. One thing I want to make very clear is all starseeds are light workers, but not all light workers are starseeds. So the quick, easy explanation for that is there are souls. Starseed literally means from another star system planted here on Earth, right? Star seed, to grow and spread love and spread light. Okay. What we need to remember is that we're not all light workers came from other places. I have encountered several souls who really, truly believe that they are Gaia-born souls. So that if that's their truth, who am I to tell them differently, right? And so I really do believe. And then there are also fairy beings, all these other beings that would be considered light workers as well. And they're from here, right? They're Gaia-born souls. And so if you think of it that way, not all light workers are starseeds if you think of starseed as that, okay? So a starseed is essentially a soul who volunteered to come and help with this ascension process, right, of humanity. We were like the Hermione Granger, ooh, 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 pick me, pick me, pick me. And now we're like, why did we do that? We volunteered to help. We did volunteer. Nobody made us, because we've already gone through the process elsewhere, okay? Our souls, as light workers, as starseeds, light workers as well, have already ascended. We've already gone through this process. That's why we were the perfect people to come and help, right? We're the experts. We've likely, as Angie and I have talked about many times, we have likely done this as the ground crew, after we evolved our own souls. We've likely done this job for hundreds of planets, maybe more. And so we've already gone through the process elsewhere, another planet, another star system, another galaxy, whatever, another dimension, doesn't matter. So it makes us the perfect guides for those who have not gone through it yet. Okay, so we're here to help them go through it. So starseeds are necessary, as the ascension of Earth is much more difficult than most. I don't know if you guys have heard this. Earth is the hardest reality to choose as a soul for growth. Raise your hand if that surprises you. No, put them down. Put them down. That doesn't surprise you at all. It is tough, right? It is not easy peasy lemon squeezy. So starseeds are necessary, but here's the cool thing. Oh, wait a minute, let me see. Okay, so Earth is much more difficult than most, given the diversity of beings on the planet and the turmoil because of it. So you wonder why there's so much conflict on this planet. It is because we're literally, I don't want to say literally, but we're kind of an experiment. They threw a whole bunch of different looking beings onto one planet. And from what I understand, my guides tell me, and what the records tell me, has never been done before. Most planets going through this process, everyone on the planet is very similar. So they don't have all these giant world wars and shit like that, right? And so just the fact that we came with such different, even just the physical, I hate to say it, but even just being physically different has caused all this turmoil, right? Been believing in, having different beliefs and all this kind of thing, because they threw all of us, we're like a hot dish. I'm from Minnesota, so hot dish. We're like a casserole of all these different people thrown onto one planet. And so it's an experiment, right? It's an experiment. Oh, we definitely are warriors. I'm trying to catch comments too. See, so sorry. So I got this. So all starseeds are light workers. Not all light workers are starseeds. Again, my perspective. Many starseeds have never been human before. So I don't know about you, but that really feels deep to me. Like I had to let that sink in for a while. I have never been human before this soul configuration. Yes, I've been in many incarnations, because when I came, just like everyone else, I got stuck in the reincarnation process, right? Until we got to, this is the culmination life for us, right? And so I got stuck here. But before this planet, I was never human before. So you can think of it that way, or you can think of it literally this life, this incarnation. For many children coming in now, and who have been coming in, they have never been human before. I mean, if you think about it, doesn't that explain a lot about some of the aspects of what's going on, right? So I don't want to hang too long on that. So I mentioned Dolores Cannon. I'm sure you've all heard of her. She has a beautiful book out that I highly recommend, called The 3 Waves of Volunteers and the New Earth. I love her. She's passed from this plane. I do believe she's just spreading her love and light even more. Like she's the ascended Jedi Master now, right? She's just helping even more. She is the creator. If you don't know, she created quantum healing hypnosis technique, which I'm not a practitioner. I have received it and I have looked into it and I have fallen in love with it. I would recommend it to anyone, which then kind of evolved to BQH, which you could beyond quantum healing. But Dolores created quantum healing hypnosis technique, where she started to take people, she wanted to regress people back first into their present lives. And she started to get all these past lives and was like, whoa, I can do so much more. Like, in short, this is kind of her story. I can do so much more with this, knowing that I can take them to past lives. And she helped many, many people heal in that way. She also kind of created these 3 categories, the 3 waves, and defines the 3 waves, which I want to describe just a little bit, because I want to talk about where these new starseed kids coming in fit in. Okay. So one of her quotes, which I love this: the purpose of the 3 waves is twofold: to raise the energy on Earth to avoid catastrophe. That's kind of vivid, right? And to enhance the frequencies of the population so they can ascend to the new Earth in the next dimension. So notice what she says our 2 jobs are: raise the energy, enhance the frequencies. Isn't that kind of the same thing? Really, what we're doing here is raising the energy. That is our only job. And guess what? We don't have to do a damn thing to fulfill that mission. Just being here fulfills that mission. Okay, that's what she meant by that. It's like, we could sit in a cave in Tibet. You want to do that like the Himalayan monks, right? And just sit there and just om all day and just spread love and light. We don't even need to really do that. Just being here is all we need to do. Her books, I love her books, because really all she does is she puts her sessions in there, the sessions she has had with people that showcase the point she's trying to make in that book, right? So it gives all this evidence, all this proof that we really are multi-life beings, right? We don't just have this one. In other words, the very presence of starseeds, I just want to hit this one more time, here on Earth is facilitating and supporting the ascension. These are my words. We actually don't have to do anything. We just have to be. Of course, we're not content with that, right? Because we're busybodies as souls. We just want to really get in there and experience this, right? The missions we choose are the experience, the adventure. I have a friend who says it all comes down to the adventure. What did you choose to experience in this life? Yes, you're spreading love and light. Great. You're doing that anyway by just waking up in the morning. Actually, not even by just being present in the physical on this planet, you are doing that. What else do you want to do? Have some fun, right? Enjoy yourselves. So Dolores put light workers into 3 distinct categories. If you've not heard this before, this is a super quick overview of it. Now, I took her information because there was some that did not resonate with me. And again, if I don't resonate with you, fine. She may resonate with you. Get the book. Even I actually found this information because I couldn't remember where it was in the book, which I do own. I just Googled it quick and found all of her 3-wave information. So you can Google it and see what she says about the 3 waves. I took her information, and based on all of my research and my time in the Akashic records, this is what I came up with for the 3 waves. So just bear with me. So the first wave, which I have called the Demolition Crew, I am a member. I was born in 70. I'm actually going to be 50 here in a few on Christmas Day. And so people born in the 60s and 70s, I think, what are we, Generation X? I don't keep track of all that crap, but born in the 60s and 70s. And again, this is a rough estimate. If you were born in the 50s and you feel like a first waver, then you're a first waver. If you were born in the 80s and you feel like a first waver, then you're a first waver. This is not a hard and fast rule, right? So the characteristics of this Demolition Crew are they're masters of hiding their magic. Because we were raised that everyone has to be the same. Everyone has to act the same. Everyone has to believe in the same things, right? So we became masters of hiding our magic. We have a propensity to suffer from anxiety and or depression, usually both. They kind of go hand in hand. PTSD is very prevalent in this generation, this wave, because of the wars that occurred. Okay, so we're talking, if you were born in the 60s, it's possible you served in Vietnam, right? And so, or even 50s, and consider yourself a first waver. Lots of PSD going on. This wave cannot process violence. When I saw this, I was like, this is something that Dolores did say. A lot of this is my stuff, but it's taken from her research as well. But that rang so true for me. We cannot process violence. We don't understand why it's a thing, because it shouldn't be, right? But it's all part of the process. Alcoholism, autoimmune disease are kind of rampant in the first wave. But our mission, we are here to break down the old and clear it away. That's why I call us the Demolition Crew, okay? I've said before too, we're the bulldozer operators. We are here to clear all the crap away, all the old crap. And so that's the first wave, say, okay? So second wave, I call the Visionaries. We tend to call them the millennials, born in the 80s and 90s. I have a younger sister in that category, as well as my oldest child, who was born in 96. And so the characteristics are, they tend to be artists, musicians, and writers. They tend to be kind of reincarnations of hippies, if you know what I mean. Like they're kind of the new hippies, but they tend to be very much loners, very quiet. They long for a better world, but feel powerless in creating one. So they hide inside themselves a lot. They have a lot of trouble fitting in. They were the first generation, or the first, kids to experience cyberbullying, right? Lots of substance abuse, unfortunately, lots of suicide. Their mission, it's tough, right? I don't mean to only talk about the negative stuff, but it's tough to, like, these are important things to kind of know if you're trying to kind of fit yourself into, like, obviously, if you're listening to me, you've not committed suicide, thank God. If you've had a lot of time where you have thought about it, this kid right here. Because they all bleed over. Okay. So just be aware of that. But if you've had a lot of suicidal times in your life, their mission is really more of a pure light worker mission. They really are just here to be light. They tend to choose passions and, their unique way of expressing love in the world. They tend to choose very artistic ways. So they are here to simply share their energy and their visions for the future. That's why I call them the visionaries. They're the ones who can see a better future, but they just don't know how to build it. They don't know how to get there. Okay. So that's where the third wave comes in, which I actually call them the healers. My 3 younger children are all in this group. Okay. Roughly born from 2000 through 2019. Okay. Roughly. Again, don't worry too much about that. The characteristics are, they are the ADD wave, right? Like, oh, the labels. Why do we love them so? Dolores has said they need challenges, not medication. I just want to applaud her for a second there. They tend to have a lot of food allergies. Big surprise. They were kind of the first generations to start to show reactions to the way we were living as a society, right? The crap food, the crap environments, the toxic chemicals, everything. Okay. So they started to show, their bodies started to reject these things because they're transitioning us into a better way of doing things. Okay. So food issues, they're incredibly empathic. My younger 3, I actually homeschool my youngest 2 because they would be eaten alive in public school. They are so sensitive. And my 20-year-old, even, who's in college now and doing great in college, he would go to school and he would feel emotionally drained immediately upon walking in the building. And I have talked to him a lot about the things that I have learned. And I said, look, you need to put up boundaries. You need to stop. He was walking into this entire high school building and immediately trying to give all of his energy away to make everybody feel good, because he needed everybody to feel good. And that's exactly how I am. He's just like me. And then he would call me an hour into school and go, I can't be here. Can you call me so I can come home? And I finally started to talk to him about boundaries. And I said, you've got to put up your boundaries and stop giving away your energy. And you know what he said to me? He said, but Mom, that's so selfish. Like, I tear up every time I tell that story, because yes, that's beautiful, but you're not helping you or them really. By giving your energy away and giving it to other people, you are, first of all, depleting yourself, which is not good for anybody. And you're just delaying them having to deal with their own shit. Okay. So I have taught him how to do boundaries, and he's much better at doing that. But he would just be exhausted within an hour of being there. So and he's in this group. And so they tend to do that. They have 0 boundaries. School is difficult. They desperately seek out like-minded friends rather than conform. That's a beautiful, beautiful characteristic that they have. These kids are not conforming. Instead, they are finding other kids who like the things they like and think the way they think, rather than trying to change the way they think so that they fit in, right? Beautiful. They want to heal everyone. But their mission is to just, they are bringing in this beautiful new healing energy to help this healing process. Okay. Again, my perspective, again, they all bleed together, right? We are all doing kind of all of these things. It's kind of like the love languages. You don't really just have one, right? We're not really just part of one wave. We're all light workers. We're all starseeds. I just wanted to kind of highlight this because, in my opinion, the kids that are coming in now, born 2020 and beyond, are not third wavers. I know a lot of people saying, oh, well, it's part of the third wave. I kind of feel like that's done. I feel like 2020 and beyond, now all these kids, and again, it could be some 2019, even a few 2018. I'm sure we needed some scouts coming in, right? These are the new human beings. And the great thing, the awesome thing, the beautiful thing about these babies, these little ones coming in now, they are coming in with 0 karma. They have no karma. They have no past life baggage. They have no ancestral baggage. You know why? Because we've cleared it all away for them. I keep telling Angie, and I talk about this all the time. We need to get t-shirts. When we're in ego, some days we talk about this. We need to get t-shirts that just say you're welcome, and just walk around with, like, all of us. Can we just do that? Can we get some you're welcome shirts? Pass them around to everybody. We are doing all that work so that they don't have to. And I love that. I love that so much. So they're coming in with 0 karma. They're also coming in with all the knowledge they need. Oh, first of all, I call this generation, or this wave, the builders. They are coming in with all the knowledge to start building. Not that we're not going to build. We most definitely are. But I'm telling you, you're going to have probably someone from every wave, if not many people, but you're going to have one of these kids involved in creating your mission at some point, because they're the builders. They're the ones going to be creating it in the physical. We will be manifesting like our own healing centers, etc. But if you think about it, even healing center is a transitional thing. Like eventually we won't need that because we'll be fully in 5D, and they're going to be building that, if that makes sense. So I don't know, hopefully. And they are bringing in full 5D. They are the ones bringing in full 5D. Let me just check comments. My 20-year-old is like a male version of me. I was sick so much of my life because I was giving away everything. I was giving everything away. I wanted everybody to feel good. And people would tell me, I just feel so good when you're around. And I'm like, I don't know why, because I'm having a panic attack right now. Like, right? Like I felt awful. And I would give it away until I got sick. And I spent most of my childhood in bed, in hospitals. I had pneumonia. I had bronchitis. Because I couldn't, if you think about the lungs are connected to the heart chakra, I was giving everything I had away. I was literally depleting my heart chakra because I didn't know how to open up to fill it up. Right. So now I know. So these 3 waves that Dolores beautifully outlined for us, that I kind of made my own, these 3 waves are the transition from 3D to 5D reality for humanity. If you think about it that way, really think about that for a minute and let this blow your mind for a minute, because this blew my fucking mind. We are literally evolving to a whole new density, a whole new reality of existence in 3 generations. That is unprecedented. It has never happened before on this planet. And these human souls who've never ascended before have never done this. Okay, so this is huge. We are literally evolving within our bodies, taking our bodies with us. Enormous, okay? So what's happening is there's this flip to where adults need to shut up and let the kids teach us for once, okay? Which is why the education system is in a huge transition right now too. It does not work for the Starseeds, and it won't. It never will. And the Starseeds, just by their very energy, are going to deconstruct it. Okay, we're not doing it. Don't think politics is going to. They're doing it. They're going to create the education system that they need. Okay, what they need to be being taught is how to process emotions, how to, all these things that we're learning now. They're going to be creating that, what they need. And honestly, when I see people, on social media freaking out about it, I just cannot worry about it. It just is not even in my energy. It's not our job. Let that go right now. Put that in a little ball and give it away and watch it float up to the cosmos. It's gone. Okay, so what I do want to say is, if you were paying attention to the 3 waves, and you notice I called the 3rd wave the healers. We are all healers. Again, I said they all bleed over, right? We're all healers. Think of it this way. What's our main purpose? We came in to share light, to spread light, to share love. That's it, right? That is really our main purpose. Again, we don't even have to do anything to do that. The very nature of our higher frequency as souls who've already done this process is doing that, is fulfilling that. So if you think of the adventure that we chose, however we each chose a unique way to share that love and to share that light. By doing that, we are healing. We're healing ourselves. Think about it. Just being aligned with your path is healing yourself, right? We're healing ourselves. And what happens when we heal ourselves? Everybody around us starts to heal, right? They either ask you, hey, I want to glow like you do, which I'm being asked lately. I'm turning 50 and I have never looked better. I have never looked healthier. I've never been healthier. And people are asking me now, how are you doing this? And then I can share and I go, whoa. I'm working on my evil laugh, because that's when I like to go, oh, I am so glad you asked, because this is what I'm doing. And usually I lose them about 30 seconds in when I start talking about evolution and ascension, but that's okay. They'll get there. But what we're doing here is bringing Christ consciousness back to humanity, right? We're bringing it back. We're bringing it in, and we brought it in. Actually, we've already brought it in. We just decided to choose this adventure and have this exciting, experience with everybody else. So, and what I love is I don't even know, I've heard many numbers. I don't know what resonates with you guys. I've heard 1 million and 100 million and 144,000, that's a number as well. Or it's a frequency, whatever, it doesn't matter. All you need to know is that you came to spread love and light. But it's there are at least 144,000, I think at least 1 million of us light workers, many of them starseeds, I would say large chunk of them starseeds, that came here to, it's a second run of what Yeshua, Jesus, God love him, I love Jesus, and Mary Magdalene tried to do all by themselves. And they just really didn't know what they were getting into. And then, of course, in the aftermath of it all, they just completely wrote her out of the whole story. But it was them together. The Christ consciousness, know this, is they are twin souls. They are divine twins. And they came in together to bring that Christ consciousness back, because it's the balancing of the feminine and the masculine, right? So the unique way each of us chose to express the love we bring into the world is how we're healing. We're all healers. We are all healers. But remember this, our main job is to what? Heal ourselves. If you do nothing else, heal yourself, right? Heal, I would say heal. I did a video on my YouTube channel called Heal Your Shit. That is your mission. Heal your shit, do nothing else. So yes, the children coming in now, 2020 and beyond, again, remember my perspective. I don't think they fall into the category of starseeds at all. I mean, starseed, technically, if you think about it, they're other, obviously souls born outside of the earth and coming in, planting the seeds. But we're talking about them in relation to coming in to push humanity through this ascension, right? They're coming in now, getting ready for after that, right? Like they're coming in now. Think about it this way. I've heard many people talk about, oh, well, 2030, 2040, 2050, damn, that's really when our 5D reality is going to be on, kicking in and kind of on autopilot. That's when they're going to be adults, right? Not that they're going to wait. The minute they start talking, they're going to be doing shit, but they're coming in now because that is the time when everything is going to really kick into high gear. I always tell people, that if you play Mario Kart, that spot where you can see it coming and you try to aim for it and it's like the arrows and it makes you go even faster. That's what we're going to be on, right? We're heading for that track and they're going to make sure we hit it. And then they're going to really start coming into their missions and building everywhere, manifesting. So I don't think they're starseeds. I think they're really the new humans, the new 5D humans. They are the 5D race born with 5D bodies, fully integrated in the new 5D energy of the planet from conception. Okay, this again, my perspective. The challenge for parenting these kids is really going to come down to one thing, and that is to be able to truly allow them to do what they came here to do. No limitations. I don't know about you, but my energy goes when I think about that as a mom, because I'm like, oh my God, they're going to get hurt. They're going to get hurt. That's not going to be good. Guess what? They're going to experience what they came to experience. I'm not saying don't let them run into the street, obviously, without, use your common sense. That's not what I'm saying. But oh my gosh, we have got to give them more freedom. So that's what I want to talk about too, with the kids who are already here, our beautiful babies. We'll get to that too real quick. My story, I wanted to really just touch on super fast. My story as a starseed growing up in the 70s. Like I said, I resonate with first wave. I started waking up about 7.5 years ago, and it has been a kind of catch-up game since then because I feel like I came in late to the game. So I'm like, all right, I got to hurry up and catch up because a lot of first wavers have been awake for decades, for 20 years and more. So it was almost like I came in and I was like, oh shit, like they stacked the books up in my arms, you better catch up. I had to graduate high school and college in like a day. It felt like it anyway. So my childhood, and this is interesting to note too, if this resonates with you, let me know. I was raised in a very rural area for the most part of my life in Minnesota, raised in isolation in the country. I never went to daycare. We rarely ever had a babysitter. There was probably 5 miles around us before you got to the next person. And I didn't leave my mother's side until I started kindergarten. And I always thought that I kind of resented that because I felt like I was too sheltered, and my siblings all experienced the same. Well, except for my youngest sister who came in, she's a millennial. I was a teenager when she joined us, and she's a totally different animal. But anyway, she threw my parents for a loop, that one. But yeah, so the reason for that, and if you resonate with this, let me know. And there are other ways too, but the reason for that was to keep, and I've been told by my guides, was that it was to keep me hidden. Because my light, I came into the world just a fucking spotlight, you guys. I'm sure you can resonate with this. I cannot turn it down. I just can't. And so in order to keep me safe, in order to keep me hidden, I was raised largely in isolation in the middle of nowhere. Okay. And then by the time I started school, my parents, had, God love them, they didn't know better, but they had, pounded it into me by then that I needed to act like everyone else. I needed to fit in. I needed to be quiet. I needed, all these things. And I had adopted that by the time I started school. And so by the time I went out, amongst other people on a daily basis, I had learned to shield it. Like I said, I can't turn it down, but I had a cloak over it, right? And I kept that cloak on for a very long time. More aspects of my childhood that now looking back, I know, basically scream that I am a starseed. I have random, vivid memories from being an infant. Now, if anybody resonates with this, let me know, because I've met so many other people who are like, oh my gosh, yeah. Like I would tell my mom, oh, I had this dream, blah, blah, blah. She's like, that really happened to you. And because I have this memory of being on an airplane, my older brother, who's just a year older than me, a year and 4 days older than me, I can still see him in my head. My mom was holding me and he got to walk up to the front of the plane, and the pilots back in the day when that was all really, easy going, and the pilot would walk around. You could go up into the cockpit. Seriously, long time ago. Clearly, probably, 71, early 1971. And my family was moving, and I still can see it in my head. And I told my mom, and she goes, that really happened because my brother went up and the pilot gave him little wings, right? A little pin. And I'm telling her this, and she's like, you cannot possibly remember that. And I said, why not? She said, you were a month old. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of hard to believe, but I remember every second of it. I can still see it. And I have other memories. I no kidding have a memory of lying in my crib, looking up at the farm mobile that we had. All 5 of us had this farm mobile, looking up at the mobile and being very confused. Like I literally had no idea what was going on. And I was really confused that I had no control over my body. I remember that. And my mom, and I think, I'm just guessing, I may have even been much younger because I don't think I could even roll over yet. So anyway, these memories are common for starseeds, these kind of vivid and really vibrant in your mind, but it's like of being confused, of being like at that young age going, what the hell? Where am I? Like that kind of thing, okay? Also, memories of your childhood, if they are scant and foggy, that is not only a starseed trait, it is also a trait for people who have been abducted multiple times. I don't know if that's a rabbit hole y'all aren't ready for, but I can talk about that too. Many times. From the age of 7 to 12, I was taken many, many times. I have almost no memories from that time period. The ones I do have are in kind of a fog and a haze, and I have been told it's because they're fake. Right? So kind of freaky. That freaked me out at first. I am totally good with it now because my memories so far of the abductions are all my like star family and literal in the physical guides making sure I was okay. And I wouldn't be surprised if many of you have had that experience as well. But I have woken up in the middle of the night walking full speed through my living room. And if I hadn't woken up in the second that I did, I would have slammed into my kitchen island and hurt myself. Like I was just going, like there was nothing in front of me, right? And that's another trait. So anyway, that's another rabbit hole. But that was the foggy memories of childhood are also a starseed trait because we're so confused the whole time. We're like, what is going on? I also was visited by a lot of guides in visions, dreams, and in real life. And in real life, I had a 7-foot tall blue bird man, imaginary friend. I know now he wasn't imaginary. And Mother Mary, I almost said Mary Magdalene. Mother Mary came to me in visions. I know that I was awake because after I saw her, I would have to go back to my bed. I was 3 and 4, and she came to me many times. She never spoke. She was always floating in the same spot in my house, wrapped in these kind of flowy, pale blue. You know how they always depict her in light blue? I was raised Catholic, so that's how that's kind of, I think that was intentional so that I knew who it was, right? She was wrapped in this like just loose cloth, not even a gown or a dress or anything. It was just like loose, cloth, light blue cloth. And all I could see was her face and like a toe of her bare feet. And she would just smile at me. She never said a word. And I just felt so much love from her. I was very odd, very shy, very quiet. I would say, debilitatingly shy in school, especially. You wouldn't know it now, huh? I was a loner. I said very weird things. I had trouble making friends. I was bullied. I was a bully magnet, right? All of you, right? I bet every single one of you can relate to that. I did not understand people at all. Do you know why we're bullied? You know why we're bullied, right? Because of our light. They don't know that they see it, but they see it. They sense it, they feel it, and they hate you for it because they don't have it. And so they will do anything to knock you down a peg. Or bullies try to be your friend, right? So that's kind of what happened to me after, well, I kind of played the system is what I feel like happened. So I realized that the people closest to the bullies didn't get bullied as much. And so I started to seek out bullies as besties to get into the inner circle so that I wouldn't get bullied as much. Am I proud of that? Not super proud, but I forgive myself. I didn't know what else to do. So I would literally stare up at the sky at night and wonder which star was my real home. If anybody resonates with that. I am definitely not a Gaia-born soul. I would stare up at the night sky and go, I don't know where I'm from, but I'm not from here. So like I said, I sought out guides in this physical life from a young age in all the wrong places. I was drawn to narcissists and bullies. Big surprise. Why? Because I didn't know how to human. And bullies seemed like they had it all together. They knew how to be here. They had it all figured out. They were the bosses, right? Of the playground, of the cafeteria, whatever. And so I sought them out to be in that circle so that they could tell me what to do. Because I didn't know, I had no idea. So I needed someone to tell me how to be here, right? And how to be human. So my parents and teachers didn't know what to do with me. I was told to stop saying weird things, and I heard stop talking, which I did. I was told I would never make friends, and I heard you have no value to other people, and I believed it. And I was told to act like other kids, and I heard hide yourself deep inside because no one will love the real you, right? And I'm tearing up a little bit, but I know all of you can relate to this. And I believed these things deeply. I absolutely believe these things. I was essentially told to stop being me, so I did. I stopped until I couldn't anymore, right? And that's the awakening. The beginning of our awakening is when we cannot not be us anymore. Thank you, universe. Thank you, universe. I'm so grateful now. So some parenting tips for 5D in general. And this is just, I've been doing this for 24 years. Learning this new 5D shit is really eye-opening. Like with my kids, I've kind of had 2, and then I waited a while and had 2 again. So I feel like my older 2, they're gone, right? They've been parented. They don't need any more parenting, and they're fabulous. They're beautiful, beautiful young men. My younger 2, it's like a totally different world than the older 2 were. And so these are just a few things that I have learned during this journey. I am more aware now when I'm projecting my shit onto them. And as you heal, if you feel like you're kind of in the muck of that right now, of, I cannot be a good parent. I can't be present. I can't be nice. I can't be blah, blah, blah. As you heal yourself, this will automatically lessen. I promise you. You will be more even keeled as a parent. You're going to be more even keeled. You're just going to be more present and more you and more at ease in this reality and a better parent, right? But it all starts with healing yourself. That is your number one priority. Keep working on yourself. It will only help your kids. It can only help them. So, and then think about the things. What I like to do is I think about the things that trigger me that my kids do when I'm not in a triggered state. So when I'm feeling really good, I'm like, okay, I want to look at this because why does them doing that trigger me so much? You want to make sure you're not in a triggered state at all when you do this, okay? That way you can really step back and see what's going on. Things like I used to freak out when my kids would make a mess because I'm kind of a neat freak. I like a tidy house. When they would interrupt me and when they would get dirty and then come in the house, when they would fight. I have 4 boys. So let me tell you, if you are a boy mom, like stand with me here, they need roughhousing. They absolutely need the wrestling and the rolling about and the hurting each other, even to some extent. They need that. That is how boys expel extra energy. So don't ever yell. As long as nobody's getting hurt, obviously keep it in the parameters, right, of safety, but they need it. My 24-year-old will still tackle my 10-year-old and they love it. They absolutely love it. I have so many pictures. But anyway, I would think about these things and then I would think, are these things really so bad that they're doing? Like, okay, he decided to play in the sink. And so he got the stool and they moved all the dishes out of the sink and he was playing in the sink. And I yelled at him for doing that because he got water everywhere. Is that such a big deal, really? So the key here is to examine these things and maybe kind of look at why these things bother you. So my thing is I felt so so powerless in my own energy that I tried to control external things as much as I could, right? So the house, keeping the house neat and tidy. I need to do that. I need to do that. The house has to be clean all the time. I have 4 kids and now 4 animals. No way is this house clean ever, much less all the time. And I'm okay with it now. And I never thought I would get to this place, you guys. Never, ever thought I would get here. So, and then if you have to, imagine yourself as a kid and you doing that activity that they did that angered you and how you would have felt if your parent had reacted the way you reacted, right? That's an easy kind of exercise to do. Remember, this is one important thing that I have learned. Kids legitimately forget what we tell them, not intentionally. Think of it this way. Have you ever tried to force yourself to forget something? That's not possible. It doesn't work that way, right? They're not doing it on purpose. They legit forget what you tell them. They really, really do. And with so much going on right now, it's probably even worse, right? It's probably even more like my 14-year-old is, he had teachers who told me he was on the spectrum, which is why I homeschool him. He's a beautiful genius and he's amazing. And I have to tell him basic household rules every day because he legitimately just doesn't have room in his brain to keep it in there because he's got so much going on, getting ready for his mission, right? And I have to be okay with that. I have to step back and be like, is it really a big deal that I have to remind him, not to do this? I can't think of a specific example, but y'all know what I mean. Okay, so they need to experience the world in their own way. And chances are it's going to be different from your way. That's an important thing to note, especially if you're a mom of boys or a dad of girls, right? The opposite sex, totally different world. But they need to experience it in their way. Don't try to force them to experience it in your way, okay? Their way is probably messier. It's probably dirtier. It's probably got a little more roughhousing in it than yours would. So what I would say, just basic parenting tips, especially for 5D, is let them control as much as you possibly can in their own lives. How to cut their hair, what to wear, the state of their room. My kids' rooms are pigsties, you guys. I don't worry about that. That's their thing. They get sick of living in the mess, they'll pick it up. Okay. And they do periodically, whatever. They know where everything is, but you have to kind of let them have the reign of that little, that's their little kingdom. Let them have that little bit, right? Okay. So, and this is something important that may or may not resonate. Okay. So I'm just going to say it and we'll move on, and don't hate me. So corporal punishment, you know what I'm talking about? Spanking has no place in 5D. Okay. I know you know it. I know you know it, but you need to know it. It has no place in 5D. So now I'm not in any judgment at all. I have done it. I have a 24-year-old. I was spanked. You spank. Okay. But it's time for us to be better now. Okay. It's time to be better. All right. The biggest ahas for me, and then we're going to do a cord cutting with your kids. So I hope everybody's still hanging out. The biggest ahas for me during this journey is my only job is to heal myself, even as a parent. My only job, repeat after me. My only job is to heal myself. You're not here to heal your kids. Let that go. Let that go. You have to release all cords with your children to be able to let go of responsibility for their journeys, okay? This does not mean that you won't love them anymore. In fact, just the opposite. When you release all of the cords and unhealthy attachments and fear around their journeys, you are able to foster a deeper soul connection with them, and that is amazing. To be able to really know them and connect with them and love them and not be afraid of them getting hurt or worse, right? Of them being victimized, of any of this stuff. You're not afraid of it because you know their journey is their journey. And they came here to experience what they need to experience, okay? So, and this too, remember this. If you have any judgment, self-judgment about the parent that you've been, okay, the parent you've been up to this moment is not the parent you have to be from this moment on. Okay, remember that in any moment you can shift. Okay, but it is time to be better. So let me get through this. Okay, so we have to start teaching them everything we're learning. This is important. When you learn how to clear your energy field, teach them how to do it. Stop doing it for them and teach them how to do it. They may look at you funny at first, but it is so important that they feel empowered over their own energy field. Okay. Teach them how to do all of it. I was exhausting myself trying to, I learned Reiki. I'm a Reiki master. I got to Reiki everybody now. I'm just like sitting on the couch. Everybody's in their beds and I'm like trying to Reiki everybody and I'm exhausted all the time. I'm like, what's going on? Why are they not healing? And finally my 10-year-old's higher self came in and said, would you stop? Like he could do this. Show him how to do it. Okay. So that's the message that I got. So be honest with them too about what you're going through, about how you feel. Because my kids now will come up and say, is the energy really heavy today because I have a headache or whatever? And I'm like, yes, it is. Like we just can have that conversation now because they know that that's where I'm at. And I just try to be very transparent with them and honest about what I'm going through so that they don't think, mom seems fine because I'm faking it. There must be something wrong with me because I don't feel right. Right? We have to be honest with them and tell them, hey, the energy is wonky today because of this and this and this, or just no reason at all. It doesn't matter. Mercury in retrograde, for the love of God. And even people who don't even know anything about astrology, it's so funny, know what Mercury in retrograde means. It's hilarious. But anyway, start teaching them everything you're learning. And that means boundaries, cord cutting, chakra balancing. I've got a list here. Energy field clearing, sacred breathing. If you don't know what that is, really quick, inhale through the nose for 6, hold for 3, exhale out the mouth for 9. Do it as long as you can, even if you can only do it like once or twice at first. I taught my 10-year-old when he was in a very high state of anxiety, and that made a huge difference for him. Breathing, focusing on your breathing just helps ground and center them. Okay. Teach them that. Sacred breathing, 6, 3, 9. And really people say 3, 6, 9 because that's the sequence, but it's inhale for 6, hold for 3, exhale for 9. Okay. It can even ease physical ascension symptoms. I have used it and it has worked. So they are feeling ascension symptoms too. Remember that. They, if they're cranky or whatever. So teach them that that's what they are. They're not dying. They don't have likely they don't have an illness or a disease. It's ascension symptoms because it can give them anxiety, especially as smart as they are. And they pick up on things. So-and-so's got cancer. They may hear these words, these scary words. Well, what's that? Maybe I have that. And you think that they're hypochondriacs, but really they're just so sensitive to the energy and they don't know what's going on because nobody's telling them. Everybody's pretending everything's fine, right? Take off the rose-colored glasses, y'all. That's old energy. It's time to be raw and brutally honest with our kids. Okay, they need to know these things. Ascension symptoms are like whole body vibrating and buzzing, weird aches and pains, extreme fatigue. All of a sudden they need to lie down. They're feeling these too. Lightheaded, dizzy, heavy heart. I've been feeling this lately. Raise your hand. My heart chakra area feels like it's stretching, making more room for more light, more of my light to come in. Teach them how to talk to their guides. Teach them how to talk to their higher self. Their higher self is the person to connect to when they're feeling the energy flow too strongly. That is the person to go, okay, higher self, turn down the energy as much as you can in my highest good. That's what I've taught my kids. Please turn down the energy as much as you can in my highest good. And they will. And I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes my highest good or my higher self goes, oh, sweetie, I already have. And then I just have to, okay, I'm going to lay down and just vibrate for a while, I guess. or just not sleep, whatever it means. But their higher self, teach them how to connect to their higher self, and just tell them it is, if it's a younger child, like my 10-year-old, I told him, this is the highest you that you are becoming. And, he kind of understood. I don't know that he understood completely, but it doesn't matter. As long as they have a kind of an identity to attach it to connect to. I said, just say higher self. Hey, I want to connect to my higher self. And he can do it on his own now. And they can turn down the energy. And I'm telling you, it is instantaneous relief. Maybe not completely, but it's better. And then sometimes you may have them whisper in your ear and go, I already have. I'm sorry, I've already turned it down. Like my higher self is always like, oh, sweetie, I'm so sorry, but I have already turned it down as much as I can. Okay. They don't even need to be in a meditative state, right? Just say, okay, when my 10-year-old is like, oh, my body is like vibrating or buzzing or whatever words he uses. I say, okay, say higher self. And he just does it in his head. Or sometimes I see like his mouth move. It's very cute. He's like, it's so cute. And I'll say, please turn down repeat after me. Please turn down the energy as much as you can in my highest good. That's all they need to say. Okay. It's easy peasy. And that's all you need to do too, to connect to your higher self, if you don't know. Okay. Remember, encourage them to share their ideas, encourage them to think outside the box. In fact, there is no box anymore. Get rid of the box. The box is gone. Okay. No more box. What I envision for us, and if you can make this an intentional thing in your life as well, is removing all labels from our children. Can we please stop telling them they are ADD and they are autistic? Okay. And they have sensory processing disorder. It's a terrible word. Awful, awful word. What they are is magical fucking beings who could not exist in 3D the way we did. My first waiver is a first waiver, master of hiding my magic. My kids cannot do that. And the new energy no longer supports that. Okay. So they are not that label, right? Except for they are starseeds. They are light workers. They are magical beings of light. Come here to make the world a better place. And they're all coming in ways that they chose to experience what they want to experience. They all have different ways of doing it. And the more we can step back and allow them their processes, the better off we'll be, and the better your relationship with them will be. Okay. My kids come to me now, even my 24-year-old. Okay. And he calls me voodoo witch doctor, which I love. He's like, all right, voodoo witch doctor lady, what's going on with the planets? Because I feel weird, and I'm like, yes, the doctor is in, please have a seat. And I can talk to all my kids now about this, and it's so beautiful. I can't even tell you. So let's set an intention right now to rid the world of labeling our children as these negative things that tell them there's something wrong with them, because it's not what it is. They're coming in as 5D, with 5D energy in a 3D world, trying to stand up in a room that you're way too tall for, right? I don't know, that analogy just came to me, but it works. But you keep trying to stand up, even though you know you're too tall for the room. It's time to build them a taller room. Show them the way out of that room into the next room with the taller ceiling. Okay. Ascension symptoms. When they have them, they're processing something, right? They're getting a download, upload. When they're legitimately sick, they're also processing something, right? I'm not saying don't take them to the doctor. Absolutely take them to the doctor, listen to your own intuition. But just know that they're processing something. Every illness and dis-ease starts with an emotional core. They're either storing something in that spot, respiratory issues connect to the heart. Something has broken their heart a little bit. Something has made them sad. Something that they don't want to look at, something that they don't want to feel, maybe. So just by talking to them about these things can help even push them through the illness quicker and get them better faster. Okay. So just know that they're just processing stuff. They're not every time, I used to be that kind of mom. Oh, he just said he has a headache. He must have a brain tumor. Right? Like we go right to that. Like we don't need to do that anymore. So now I'm like, okay, I kind of have a headache too. We have a lot of downloads coming in. Let's check his crown chakra, right? So just remember, sometimes they're sick because they're trying to process for you. Okay. My 20-year-old was very sick as a child. And I did realize a lot of it was because he was trying to make me feel better. I was kind of a miserable adult for a very long time, in and out of kind of suicidal realities, that kind of thing. I was very low vibe, very sad, very trapped kind of thing. Like at one point I even I weighed 260 pounds because I was just trying to hide. I just wanted to hide from the world. And he was trying to heal me. And he spent most of his childhood sick. And so I had to do a visualization where I separated my energy from his, and I talked to his higher self. And I said, we're not doing that anymore. Do not let him merge energies. I am not letting him try to heal me. Tell him that it's okay, that I need to heal myself. And I've told him in person too, but it's okay initially if you're not comfortable with that, just talking to their higher selves or even their souls about it and say, look, I'm not going to let him do that anymore. I can heal myself now. That is my job. Okay, so you may notice that these starseed children do not need as much sleep as maybe older children or as you did when you were a child. I know my oldest would sleep 12 hours a night. My 10-year-old, oh my gosh, 6 hours, and he is raring to go. That's all he needs. It's kind of exhausting. They just need less sleep, you guys, because their bodies are higher vibe. They don't need all that downtime. Okay, so just try to go with it. My 10-year-old, we used to, bedtime was 8 o'clock, because that worked for my older two. And even for my third, who's a good sleeper, he always just falls asleep fast. He's the only one. But my little one, he would lie in there till midnight. And finally, like 6 months ago, I said, why are we doing this to him? I was talking to my husband. I said, why are we doing this to him and to ourselves? So we put him to bed about 11 now. About 10:30, we do a meditation together. We do a family meditation that removes negative energy, that just calms everybody down. And then I Reiki him. I sit there and I Reiki him. He listens to a light language that a friend of mine made for him to help him get into the sleep mode. And then he is asleep within 30 minutes. And it may be 11:30, maybe midnight, depending on when. We don't rush. And we homeschool, so we have that luxury. I get it. If you don't, I understand. Do what you can. Do what you can when you can. Just we have to start really letting them be in control of their own schedule. If they need sleep, they're going to sleep. Again, it's like trying to force yourself to forget something. You cannot force yourself to fall asleep. You can force yourself to stay awake, but you can't force yourself or anybody else to go to sleep. So stop trying. You're just wasting your own energy. Okay. So also, in case you didn't know, and please, for the love of God, please let them have a nightlight. I don't understand this energy. I'm sure none of you do this, but if they want their freaking full light on and they still go to sleep, let them. First of all, a little bit of light keeps the spirits out. Okay. So they will be beacons for wayward souls to come in. That's why they get scared, because they're actually feeling real souls in their room, right? They're a beacon. They're such a bright light that these souls are drawn to them for help. Okay. You don't need to teach them how to usher souls if that's not their mission. All you need to do is say, okay, maybe when you're doing your bedtime routine, you can say, okay, we're going to put our, closed for business sign out. And you're just going to say, and I tell my kids, I said, they have to obey. When you tell them, just close your eyes and go, I am not open for business. I am not, going to be able to help you. Go on to the next light. That's all they need to say. And those spirits will leave them alone. That worked for me. It worked for me like that. All I had to say was, you guys, I'm not doing this. This is not my mission. I'm not here to ferry your soul. You need to go to the next light. And, don't feel bad about kind of pushing them on. They'll find somebody to help them. They will eventually get there. But if it's scaring your kids, that's not cool. And you can even talk to the spirits in their room and say, look, your presence is scaring them, and that's not allowed. That's not okay with me. So you need to go. And be firm. It's okay to be firm with them. But they also need to know how to do that. In case they feel something that scares them, just tell them to go, okay, just talk to it and say, nope, go. And they have to obey. They absolutely have to, and they always do. Just in case they're stubborn, though, there's always Archangel Michael to come in. So anyway, yes. So that's kind of an important thing that I could probably do a whole video on, is just how to teach our kids to keep spirits away at night when they're not ready. They're just not ready to do that job, whether or not that's part of their mission at all in the first place. Okay. They don't need to put up with that just because, oh, but it's wayward souls. No. My 20-year-old would say, but that's so selfish. No, it's not. It's absolutely not. They'll be fine. These wayward souls will be fine. In a nutshell, we are in uncharted territory. So I'm kind of excited to see what's going to happen. Like I said, my grandkids are going to be part of like the new human race. So not my kids, but all these starseeds are so beautiful, so different, so unique. We just have to let them be, right? That's the big thing. And focus on healing ourselves. Don't try to heal them. You won't be able to. And what you're teaching them in doing that is, oh, we have to heal people we love, and they're going to try and heal you to their detriment. Okay. You don't want that. You don't want that. I spent 8 years with a sick child because he was trying to make me happy. And I have done a lot of forgiving around that of myself because, you know, I'm like, I did that to him. I taught him that. That's what you have to do. You give away all your energy to other people to make them happy, and it doesn't matter how it makes you feel. And that's not the way we're supposed to be doing it. Wrap up. I can't stress this enough. Heal yourself and everything else will become clear. Heal yourself and everything will fall into place. Heal your goddamn self and you will heal those around you, especially your children. And again, just teach them everything you know in language they understand. Okay, that will foster a deeper relationship for you. Okay. All right. So whoever is in for this exercise, we're going to do super quick. It's just a few minutes. I call it the parachute. And it's a really quick cord cutting exercise you can do every day. I recommend doing it every day. What we're going to do for this one is set the intention that it's for cords with our children. Okay. If you don't have children and you happen to be watching this, you can set the intention to cut any and all cords that are ready to be cut, okay? With anybody, okay? So what this does, this is an amazing exercise that also begins a healing process in the other person. So it's beautiful. Be as comfortable as you can. Let's take 3 deep belly breaths. And just let it out, let it all out. And let's just get rid of all the dust bunnies of the day. I'm bringing in my guides to clear my field. So call in your guides and just say, hey, while I'm doing this, clear my field. Clear all the dust bunnies away of the day, everybody else's energy, all the crap that I don't need, anything that's not attached to my energy, because we pick up we're like lint, we're like lint rollers, right? We just walk through and just pick up everybody's shit. All right, so imagine that you're standing in the middle of a desert. The sun is high overhead, it's hot, you're sweating, you're uncomfortable. The sand is really hot on your feet. Maybe you're barefoot, but you can even feel it through your shoes, okay? The wind is blowing, that's the worst part. It's a hot wind and it's just whipping. This is fun so far, right? Stick with me, I promise it's gonna be good. And so you're in the middle of this desert and it sucks. And you're wearing, of all things, a parachute. And this parachute, the wind has caught it and it is blowing behind you so that you cannot move forward. If you can picture that, right? The wind is blowing it, trying to take you backwards on your ass, but you are standing and you're fighting it. And so you can't take a step forward, but you're resisting going backwards, okay? So just imagine that, feel the weight of that parachute on you, okay? And it's not a normal parachute, because all of the cords that are attaching the parachute to the vest that you're wearing, okay, you're wearing a parachute vest, all the cords that are attaching that parachute to you are representing cords, unhealthy attachments that you have to your children or any other cords that are ready to be released, okay? We'll just do both. And whatever you see is perfect. Whatever you're seeing is absolutely perfect. I have seen cords inside cords. I have seen cords the size of like a foot, in diameter. Whatever you're seeing, these cords are ready to go. It doesn't matter how big they are, okay? We're going to cut them today. And we're going to call in the big guns because this is a pretty big job. Not that you can't do it yourself, but let me tell you, this is what your guides are for, okay? They just hang out waiting for you to ask for help, right? So we're going to call in Archangel Michael. Now, if you need it to be somebody else, go for it. That's fabulous. Michael is a great one to call on for cords. He cuts cords, he burns contracts, okay? He's perfect for that. So he's going to come in with his big old sword. Have you ever seen Michael? He always has this beautiful big sword. And I want you to imagine he's standing next to you, and he's going to pull his sword out and he's going to hold it up. And you're going to see it. And that sword blade, it's made of white hot light. Okay. And that's what he's going to use to cut these cords. And they're going to sear through these cords like a knife in warm butter. So what I want you to do is look at Michael or whoever you've called to you. You're going to look at him and you're going to nod, and that gives him permission to start. So whenever you're ready, you may not be ready in this second. Whenever you're ready, nod at him and say, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's do this. And again, remember, you're standing strong. You're resisting this parachute. And so he's going to take a step behind you, and he's going to raise the sword, and he's going to bring it down, and he's going to start cutting. And I see cords. Some of you even have cords. I know I do out the back of my head. Again, it's not a normal parachute. So whatever cords are there, this beautiful sword of Archangel Michael is going to cut right through them. So just imagine he's going, he can go as slow or as fast as you need, okay? Just when you feel that he has cut them all, and again, I feel it coming all the way down to my feet even. He's at about mid-back right now, and he's just cutting. And they're cutting really easily, okay? And you're feeling each one release, and you're feeling, so you're able to get your footing. You're not going to fall. You're able to get your footing with each one that releases, because you're feeling that weight release from your own weight, right? All right, so he's down at the tailbone now, and he's cutting, and there may be some out the back of your legs. So we're just going to keep going down the legs and down to your feet. And once every cord has been cut, Michael's going to put his sword away. But what I want you to do is you're going to turn around now and watch as that parachute, the wind is going to take it now that it's loose from you, now that it's free from you. The wind is going to take it and blow it out into the distance until it's gone. And just set the intention that that is going to the cosmos or wherever it needs to go to be transmuted back into light. It's not part of you anymore. That parachute is gone. Watch it until you cannot see it anymore. It's gone. So now what I want you to do is you're going to unzip that vest that you're wearing that's got the other end of the cords attached to it, okay? Unzip that vest, and you're going to take it off and let it fall to the desert floor. Take a few steps away from it and turn around and look at it. And you're going to watch as Gaia pulls it down under the sand. See, Gaia loves this raw material to transmute into new life. So she's going to pull it down under the sand, and watch that spot as you see a light kind of illuminate the sand in that spot. And then that light's going to dim and go away. And then maybe you see a little flower pop out from that spot, because she's transforming that raw material into new life. And those cords are no longer a part of you. So now what I want you to do, notice the sun doesn't feel quite so hot anymore. There's a cool breeze instead of a wicked hot wind. And you're not sweating anymore. The temperature actually feels really nice. And so what I want you to do now is feel your wings unfurl from your back. I feel like for a lot of you, they've been trapped in there a long time. It's time to let them out. That parachute was keeping them from opening up. So we're going to let them out. Imagine them just coming out of your back and opening up, and just stretch them, and feel how good that feels to stretch your wings for the first time, maybe ever, for the first time in a long time. Stretch them, maybe even touch them, feel the soft feathers, and just stretch them as wide as you can. And then if you want, we're going to fly around for a little while before we come back. As long as you want. You are free of those cords. Spread your wings after you shed those cords every time, so that you get used to how that feels, because you have them. You absolutely have them, not just in visualizations. They are with you. And so spread those wings, fly around a little while like Neo in the Matrix. And then when you're ready, come back into your body. And remember to come all the way back in and bring your wings with you. They want to come back with you. So just put that physical body on like a glove. Make sure you're fitting every toe all the way in and every fingertip, and come all the way in to be really grounded. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. This was a healing. And so drink lots of water. You may feel emotions come up. You may feel more attach to your kids initially, and that's going to ease. I promise those cords are gone. That's going to go. So, and y'all might need some water and some chocolate too after that. Like I said, that was a healing. So just, treat yourself with some grace, do some self-care, take a bath, glass of wine, lots of water always. And just letting because water helps us process the emotions, right? Let the emotions come. You may feel an emotional release. You may have an emotional release from cutting those cords.